What's up, everybody? This is the premiere video of The Next Level. On The Next Level, I will be talking about Carolina football, primarily Carolina sports, maybe a little bit of Panthers here and there. We'll see. Today, I will be talking about Carolina football, what to expect this season, and I will preview the game coming up this Thursday. The Tar Heels will be playing the Gamecocks here in Charlotte, North Carolina. So that's going to be a crazy game. So let's get to the expectations real quick. First of all, the offense. I expect the offense to really improve this season. Last season, they weren't terrible. They were just so inconsistent. And the thing is, there were several games, it really keyed on the O-line. The O-line, they had several games where they got blown off the field. There were just several games where they just weren't there. Rutgers, State, Miami, Virginia Tech, just several games where they just weren't there. And in all of those games, our offense didn't have anything going for them. Marquise didn't have any time to get anything out of his hand in terms of passing, and the running game was just non-existent. The O-line this year will be more mature than last year. Last year's O-line was relatively green. So hopefully the O-line can really show their maturity, show improvement from last season. Because if they improve just a little bit, our offense could really go somewhere. Like, the sky's the limit if our O-line play is better from last season. To add on to that, the running game, I always felt like the biggest running threat for Carolina was Marquise Williams, and that's really not good since Marquise Williams is our quarterback. We need to be having our running back produce some running yards. So, back to Marquise. His legs are an asset, so it's very important that Marquise is able to use his legs if he needs to. But he shouldn't have to use his legs. And I feel like too often last year, he has had to use his legs. He was running around all over the place out there. So that's key back to our O-line. And if we can get our running game going, our running game will go as far as our O-line takes us. We have two, maybe even more than that, two really good running backs in Elijah Hood and TJ Logan. So our running game can really go somewhere if our O-line, really open up the holes for them. And I always said with Fedora's offense that Fedora is a run-first offense. He always says we're going to take what the defense gives us, but it always seems that when our running game is on point, everything else just falls into place. That's what I've seen in several years of Fedora being at Chapel Hill. So hopefully the running game gets going too, because if the running game gets going, then that'll set everything up. Also, as far as Marquise goes, the Carolina fan base seems to be divided about who should be starting at quarterback. And I think Fedora has, even though that was kind of like in flux last year, it's not in flux this year. Like, Marquise is our starter. And I think what's going on, and well, there could be multiple layers to this, but we're going to just take the football layer. What the thing is, we need Marquise, and the reason is our O-line last year wasn't consistent enough. So Marquise had to run around like that. And yes, Mitch can run, but Marquise is just better at it than Mitch is. Marquise makes our team go. And most people outside of Chapel Hill recognize that. I was just listening to a podcast yesterday when they were previewing college football, and they're talking about how dynamic Marquise is. So people understand that Marquise is a good talent. Carolina fans may be fatigued by him, but understand that when you see the big picture, Marquise is what our team needs. I'm not anti-Mitch. I think Mitch is very important. I just think that Marquise brings more to the table based on what our roster has right now. So that's what that is. The key of the team is Marquise. Okay, defense. We just need the defense to be competent this season. Last year's defense was not competent at all. I felt more what's the word? I was more confident in our defense when they faced third down and 5 than when they faced third down and 25. And I didn't understand why. Like, the defense, well, really per play, they were just awful. Like, probably last in the nation last season when it came to yards per play. But even when they did good stuff on first down and second down and had those third and long moments where they should be finishing the other team off and get off the field, they didn't do so. Now we have Gene Chizik here, and Gene Chizik is all about the fundamentals. He's all about tackling, being in the right space, putting yourself in a good position. I think Koenig was more about scheming and X's and O's and let's be brilliant and everything. And the problem was people were out of position. It was a disaster. We had missed tackles all over the place. Hopefully with Gene Chizik we clean that up, because if we just make some more tackles, like I said, our defense, all we need our defense to be is competent, and we'll be okay. So don't expect leaps and bounds defensively, but our defense has no place to go but up, like literally. So that'll be important to look at, especially this Thursday, because they will be tested. Last but not least, special teams. We need a kicker who can kick a field goal that's longer than 25 yards. And the starting kicker is the same kicker we had last season, which shocked me because I know we had this other kicker, Freeman Jones, who was an All-American back in high school. But I really don't care as long as we can kick field goals. Because think about how many points we really just left on the field. How many games we could have won, or how many games we could have, changed momentum or kept the momentum had we made field goals instead of missed them. So special teams is very important. We left a lot of points out there last season. Okay, let's talk about the Belt Bowl. Belt Bowl kickoff, rather. Of course, it's this Thursday. We're playing South Carolina. Vegas has South Carolina by 3. I'm not sure if it opened. It may have opened at South Carolina by 1. People are really jumping on South Carolina. And I guess they earned that. Steve Spurrier, he has a cloud about him that has earned him that edge. South Carolina does play in the SEC, so they have that going for them. And the last couple of times we played South Carolina, we've lost. So all of that together, we've earned that +3 on our side. With the game, South Carolina, their team likes to take shots down the field. They do have a new quarterback this season, but Steve Spurrier likes to take shots down the field, and especially with our defense and the fact they're learning this new system, combined with their poor record in the past, Steve Spurrier's going to take his shots. So our team better be ready. They're going to be challenged from the jump Thursday night. On the flip side, Steve Spurrier's defense last season was perhaps the worst that he's ever had at South Carolina. So our offense should be cooking and feasting on their defense. The Belt Bowl kickoff has all the makings of a shootout. We just need to make sure that we hold up our end while they hold up their end. And for UNC, it's really all about starting fast and I guess being efficient. When third downs happen, we need to be converting ours, and we need to be getting off the field on defense when we force third downs. Third downs are really the name of the game, and we didn't do a good job with that last season. It really showed in our losses and wins. So that's the big thing. Okay, that's on the field. Off the field, this game is taking place in Charlotte. Charlotte is closer to Columbia than Chapel Hill, and South Carolina has a bigger football culture than us. So it is very reasonable to expect there to be more Gamecock fans than Tar Heel fans in that stadium Thursday night. However, I do not want to see that stadium any more than maybe 60% Gamecock fans. Like, we should be able to at least hold our own. If we're not going to be at 50%, we should at least be at 40%. I don't want to see 65% Gamecock fans. I don't want to see 70% Gamecock fans. This should not look like Columbia. Charlotte is a huge mecca for Tar Heel fans. And plus, this is our state. So we need to be showing out. And that combined with the people who hate Steve Spurrier and the border war, we should really be showing out. So we definitely need to hope our end in terms of what happens off the field. But that's pretty much all I have to say about Carolina football. I'm going to close by talking just a little bit about the top 25, the preseason I saw. Number one is Ohio State. That's the big. They had a really good season last season, and who would expect they had? I think two quarterbacks. I think Braxton Miller was hurt from the beginning. The fact that Cardale Jones, their third string, could step right in and lead them to the championship really speaks volumes about the talent that they have on that team and the talents they have at quarterback. So they earned the number one spot. Now the problem is this game that when they go play in Lane Stadium against Virginia Tech, that would not be a walk in the park, at least not early on. They may be able to turn it to a walk in the park, but one does not simply walk into Lane Stadium and walk out with a win. That is not easy. No matter how poor Virginia Tech is, they hold their own inside Lane Stadium. So Ohio State has their work cut out for them. Trailing down the list at number 3, there's Alabama, and I don't know why in the world Alabama is ranked number 3. Their quarterback, what's going on in the quarterback position is a circus. Nick Saban still doesn't know what his quarterback is, and he's now complaining to the media about how they keep asking him and he doesn't have an answer for it. We'll see what happens, but nobody's really just getting more of a name bonus, a name recognition bonus than Alabama when it comes to being in this poll. Because without a quarterback, you ain't number 3 in my list. So they're definitely overrated for me. Next up, 10 Florida State. I know they have Everett Golson, but we're hearing that that's still a quarterback competition. Jimbo hasn't decided on their starter yet. And remember last season, Jameis made that team go. Like, we can sit here and talk about the talents that team had or didn't have. When Jameis was not performing well, that team was a mess. Did you watch that game when they played Clemson? I mean, Jameis made that team go. So, to me, it's not reasonable to expect their team to be top 10 and just absolutely, not have any kind of drop-off when Jameis Winston is now in the NFL. So, yeah, I don't understand that. Florida State's also going to name recognition bonus. And speaking of people who are overrated, Georgia Tech at number 16. Their offense is dynamic. They may have had the best quarterback that Paul Johnson's ever had. The problem is the other side of the ball. It's like people forgot that Georgia Tech's defense couldn't stop a nosebleed. Flashback to November last season when they played us in Kenan Stadium, Georgia Tech had 619 yards, but UNC had 580 yards. And those 580 yards translated to 48 points. Georgia Tech's defense is a disaster. And maybe they'll see improvement, but that combined with the schedule, because they have a lot of road trips. They had to go to Notre Dame. I think they had to go to Clemson. I think Florida State may be on that schedule. They have the work cut out for them. So Georgia Tech may be 16 now, and everybody may be goo gaga over that triple option. Keep your tabs on that team. I'm not sure they're going to stay ranked this season. Okay, that's all the thoughts I have to say. I really don't have anything to say about underrated teams because I really just had to let the season play out. I don't know enough about the people in the top 25 to understand who's underrated. Even though I keep hearing LSU come out, I think Oklahoma State, people keep bringing that up. Michigan State, do not sleep on Michigan State. Even though Ohio State's definitely the clear favorite, they do have the Michigan State game at their house this season. So there's a lot of good things. There's also, people don't know what's going on in Oregon. The fact that Oregon, the quarterback they had outside of Marcus Mariota did not win the job. Somebody who came in from Eastern Washington automatically jumped in for the job, and he was not there in the spring. So that demands questions, but we'll see how that goes. Oregon's usually always good for 10, 11 wins, but this season could be different for them. Anyway, college football starts in 3 days, and I am so excited. This has been The Next Level, and this is Jonathan Atkinson signing off.